Hey there, welcome. I'm Amrita from Artria Jewelry. Today we're going to make a seed bead necklace, bracelet, and earrings set. So here I'm picking out some greens, teals, and this lightish blue-green seed beads. But before we do that, let's see who won the 1K subscriber giveaway. I'm using a random comment picker. Drumroll, please. Steph! There you won, Steph. Yippee! Please contact me on artriajewelry@gmail.com to claim your suncatcher. The supplies you're going to need 11O seed beads. You're going to need 18 gauge copper wire, and I keep it on the spool and we just work off of the spool. But if you need to cut it, you can cut it to a foot at a time. And then for the earrings, you're going to need a pair of ear wires. Tools you're going to need is a ruler or a measuring tape, a pair of chain nose or needle nose pliers, a pair of 6-step loop making pliers, flush cutters, and a jewelry file or a small file. To get started, you may need to make sure that your end of your wire is cut flush, so use your flush cutter with the flat side facing the wire and cut off a little tiny bit. Make sure to put your finger in place so you don't have these tiny wire pieces around the place. And then we're going to string on 3 seed beads. Okay. And you can put on multiple. I'm just starting with 3 because each link will have 3. And you're going to use your smallest step on your bail making or loop making pliers to make a P loop. So you'll twist your wrist twice, rotate your wrist twice, and you get this neat P loop. And once that is done, you put your plier back into the loop and hold it towards the edge where the 2 wires connect, where the loop connects, and then pull your wire back to center the loop. This is called a lollipop loop, and so you will have all of your links with this on either end, so it's centered on the link. And now for the other side, you can use your nail to bend the wire 90 degrees. Again, hold the wire with your pliers and rotate around it to make the next loop. And then take your wire cutters and snip off the wire with the flat side facing the finished piece. At this stage, you would take your chain nose pliers or your needle nose pliers and close the loop and straighten that out. And then I like to make sure that my loops are both facing the same direction. We're going to make a bunch of these for each color, and then we're going to connect them. So now I'm going to do the second color. Again, snip off the sharp edge, thread on 3 seed beads, and make the loop. So a P loop, and then pull that back so it's right there. You make it a centered lollipop loop, and then get the other loop started on the other end by bending the wire and looping it across and snipping off the wire. And at this stage, instead of just closing that out, I can open it, attach it to the link that I just made, and close that. So there we have 2 links. And we continue to do this. And you can use this technique to make earrings, a bracelet, And I was looking through the bead box. These caught my eye. It's all lush and green outside, and today it's been drizzling all day, so I am in the mood for some green jewelry. And this is a very cathartic, repetitive thing. So you can have your television going or listening to music while you make these. So there we have our first 3 links connected, and we'll continue to do the same. And I'm going to speed up the video at this point, but just continue to do the same process. I have a bunch of these links made. For a necklace, you need about 18 inches, and I'll show you how to make the hook and eye closure for the necklace. And then we can use the same technique to make a delicate bracelet as well. So I have about 9 links, and that's about 5.5 inches. These are a little over half an inch a link. We're just going to continue to connect all of these links, alternating the colors. And we periodically check the length to make sure we're not going more than 18 inches. So this is 8 inches right here. And that is 9, 10, 11, 12, a little less than 13 inches. to measure it again. That's 8 inches, 16 inches, almost 18 inches, and so we're just going to add this last one here. So now we have the necklace made. I'm just going to move these pieces. We'll use it to make a bracelet. We're going to take the 18 gauge wire. We're going to have to make a closure for the necklace. So I'm going to make a hook and an eye closure. To do that, we're going to cut the end of the wire flush again. Use your 6-step looping pliers again and make a P-loop. And then use the 4th step to make the eye. So you just rotate that around, you get this 8. There you go, you get an 8. And then we cut the wire with the flush end facing the side of the piece you want to keep. And close this to make a closed 8. Okay, so that's your eye. And that's that. It's kind of like an 8. And then we're going to make the hook. So you do the same thing again with the smallest step. You make the P-loop, and then you go over the 3rd step and you make a hook. So we're not closing this loop to make the 8, we're making it a U-shaped hook over there. And then you're going to cut the wire again with the flush end toward your piece, just a little below where the loop is, so about like a millimeter away from where the loop ends, and you're going to get the hook. Then you're going to take your pliers and bend up the end to give it a little flick on the hook. And to finish it off, you're going to file the edge so it doesn't get stuck in anything. So we have the hook done. To connect it to the necklace, we are going to open up the loop, attach it to one end, close the loop. I'm just going to bend that close so the hook is nice and tight there. And then we're going to open the loop for the 8, the smaller loop for the 8, and hook that on there and close it off. So now we have your hook and eye closure done, and here the necklace is ready. It's a beautiful, simple seed bead necklace. For the bracelet, I have some links made here, so I'm just going to connect those. And the bracelet is typically about 7 to 7.5 inches in length. And you can always add more links if you need it to be longer. So I'm going to make it 7.5 inches, including the clasp. This is 5.5 inches, so we're going to use the 18 gauge wire to make a few more links, and then we're also going to make the hook and eye closure. Now for the hook and eye closure. For the bracelet, we're going to make the eye a little bit smaller. So I'm going to use the third step for the eye as well. And then bend this up. Connect this on one end. And then we're going to file the hook. The hook is nice and smooth. We're going to connect the eye to the other side. There we go. It's a nice, delicate chain link bracelet. We have the necklace done and the bracelet done, and all that's left to make is a matching pair of earrings. We're going to make this earring to match the bracelet and necklace. For the earring, we're going to use the 18 gauge wire and make an 8 loop like we did for the necklace and bracelet closure. So you're going to use the smallest step on your 6-step loop making pliers and make a small loop, P-loop. And then you're going to use the 4th step and make the base of the 8 like that. And then you're going to take your flush cutters and cut close to the loop, so you'll have this opening right here. And then take your chain nose or needle nose pliers and hold the smaller loop and finagle the wire closed. So you get a closed 8 loop. Now for the beads, so that forms the base of the earrings, and now we're going to make links that we can put in there with the beads. And what we're going to do is slightly different here is we're not going to have a loop on each end. We're going to have a loop on one end and a stopper made with the wire on the other end. So I have the beads strung on here. Take your chain nose or needle nose pliers and hold the very tip of the wire and bend that up a little bit. So we don't want to make a full loop, we just want to bend that up and then press it down against itself. So you're making a stopper that will hold the beads in place, so the bead won't slide off. And then take your looping pliers and, like you did with all the other links, make a loop on the top with the smallest step of your pliers. And then snip that wire off with your flush cutter. So we're going to do that in one of each color for each pair of earrings. Just hold the tip, bend the tip up and press against itself and slide the beads down. Bend the wire against your nail and make a small loop with the smallest step and cut that off with the flush cutters. And then the last one is this light green beads. So string on 3 beads, Bend the wire to make the stopper. Slide the beads against the stopper and make your loop at the top. Okay. Now we're going to attach these to the larger loop of the 8. So just close that around there. And we're going to attach the ear wire. Here we have a pair of earrings made, and then we have the bracelet to match and the necklace. It's a beautiful set. If you enjoyed making this with me, I hope you will like, subscribe, and share. Happy jewelry making!